Hey, kia ora whanau, you're here with me, the maoriwargamer, and today we'll be playing a Warhammer 40K battle report. Chur. Right whanau, welcome to mission number 3, the finale mission of the Return to Xerath campaign. Seeing the Genestealer cults and the Tyranids versus the Eldar. Here we've got a big Tyranid battle line, Genestealer cult battle line formed up and ready to roll for this final mission. 2 battalion detachments of Genestealer cults and Tyranids on the battlefield of Xerath, the Mining World, and the Eldar stand ready to defend. Dark Reapers here, little anti-deep striker line of Guardians. And the big daddies here, the psykers, the elite psykers of the Eldar, Eldrad Ulthran himself, the Farseer, and the Spirits here as well, as these glorious Wraith Constructs, all formed out and ready to battle against the Tyranid Genestealer forces. So the story we've got for the mission today is the big finale mission. The Eldar have returned to Xerath in numbers. For unknown reasons. Now, right now at this point, we've got the 3 psykers here, and they'll be trying to perform a ritual of sorts. For at this moment, still reasons unknown. But they returned to Xerath. Last time they were on Xerath, if you've been following the story, the Farseer managed to recover a relic, an artifact of magical origins. And after recovering that artifact and consulting with the Spirits here and Eldrad, Eldrad arrived personally on the planet to oversee this ritual that they're about to undertake. So all the forces have come through to protect and defend against the endless swarm of the High Fleet's corrupted cultists, the Genestealer cultists. Have allied with the big Tyranid war beasts. The Hive Tyrant himself is overseeing this operation and looking to stop whatever ritual is about to be performed. So the objective of this mission is simple. Tyranids just need to kill all 3 of these psychic units as they're attempting to throw off the psychic power. How that is going to work for this mission there, whanau, is every psychic phase they're going to attempt to cast the power. It's a warp value of 6, and you know it replaces the psychic power that they can use. So they've got the option, depending on how they're feeling, to use other powers, other abilities that they know, or attempt to cast the ritual. And there'll be they need to cast it 9 times to receive instant win. And if they cast it before we can kill all 3 of them, then that's game over for the Tyranids, and the Eldar take the victory on Xerath. So yeah, our mission, we've got to get across this field. There's a big no man's land here, and get over it and get these Tyranids and Genestealers to take down the ancient Aeldari here. We've got, for the forces of the Tyranids and Genestealer cults, we have endless reserves in play, so they'll get to bring back every unit. And for this one, I'm just not counting the HQ units. They won't be allowed to be brought back on, but everything else can be brought back on 6 inches from the battle edge. Provides some very cinematic mission there, where with those endless reserves, we're fighting an undying, an endless Tyranid swarm, and things on Xerath are pretty dire. So whatever they've got, hopefully they can save Xerath, which is unusual because they're not Imperium. But yeah. So going into the Tyranid Genestealer Alliance, we'll be taking out turn 1. So we'll go straight into that. But before we do, we'll take a closer look at the armies that we'll be playing with today. Leading the Tyranids, we have a battalion detachment led by a winged Hive Tyrant with 2 Devourers with Brain Leech Worms, and a Broodlord with monstrous rending claws. 2 5-man Genestealer squads with rending claws, A 3-man Tyranid warrior squad, 2 with Devourers and Scything Talons, and a Sergeant here with Lashwick Bone Sword and a Heavy Venom Cannon. 10-man Termagant squad with Flesh Borers. A 3-man Hive Guard squad with Impaler Cannons. And 10 Gargoyles with Devourers and Blinding Venom. And we have a battalion detachment of Genestealer Cult of the Rusted Claw, led by a Magus with a staff and an auto pistol, and an Acolyte Icon Ward with an auto pistol. Got 2 5-man Acolyte hybrid squads, 1 with a heavy rock saw and rock drill, and 1 here with the rock carterbow sergeants with lash whip bone swords. A 10-man neophyte hybrid squad with auto guns, 2 mining lasers, and a sergeant with a train sword and bolt pistol. And a Goliath rock grinder with a mining laser, heavy mining laser, and a heavy stubber. And leading the forces of the Eldari, Sam Hahn Craft World, we have a spearhead detachment led by Eldrad Ulthran with a sword and a staff. And we've got a Farseer with a singing shuriken pistol and a singing spear. And a Spirit Seer with a witch staff and a shuriken pistol as well. I think so. Alright, so we have a 10-man Guardian Defender squad with shuriken catapults and a heavy weapons platform with a shuriken cannon. 5-man Wraith Guard squad with Wraith cannons. We have 2 War Walkers. 1 here, Chicken Legs, has a Bright Lance and a shuriken cannon. And this one here's got 2 Star Cannons. A 5-man Dark Reaper squad with 4 Reaper launchers, and the Exarch here has a Tempest launcher. A Wraith Lord with Flamer, shuriken catapult, Eldari missile launcher, and a Ghost Glaive. And a Wraith Knight with 2 shuriken cannons and 2 heavy Wraith cannons. Right, fine, it's the end of the movement phase for the Tyranid Genestealers. Everything's just moved in advance pretty much there, just the first turn. Kind of just overwhelmed our opponent with numbers. So everything's advanced. Only things that can shoot will be the Hive Guard and the Rock Grinder. Got the Synapse creatures in range of the little Tyranid beasties, and we're going to go into the psychic phase now. Right, so end of the turn for the Tyranids on turn 1. Nothing happened. We're still too far across the board, so we'll just move the line forward. Heavy stubber, the Rock Grinder took a shot in, did nothing, missed its shots, and Hive Guard did nothing, so I spent 2 command points to get them to shoot again, and did nothing again, rolled 1s and 2s, so off to a great start. The first time that I ever got to use the Hive Guard, because the previous 2 missions I just got blown off the field before I could even do it, which was illegal, but hey. Well, I won't dwell on the past. So yeah, finally excited to shoot with them, and they did nothing. Broodlord cast Catalyst on them though, so that should give them a bit more survivability. Hopefully once we get a bit closer, we can actually do more stuff. But yeah, early game, moving that line, and we'll go into the Eldar on turn 1. Right, so end of movement phase for end of psychic phase for Eldar on turn 1. Everyone's standing still, waiting for the line to advance to them before they can open fire, which they're happy to do so. The ritual, the way that they achieve victory, rolling 9 charges. The 3 of them landed 3 charges each, so we've got 6 more charges to do to complete the ritual. The Spirit Seer suffered 2 mortal wounds though when he rolled perils, double 6s. So he took a bit of a hit, but it's gone off 3 times, so 3 more to go. And we also managed to cast Guide on the Wraith Knight, but they failed pretty much every other psychic power after that, which is good for me. And going into shooting, we've got the Wraith Knight and the Dark Reapers to open fire. Alright, fine, it's the end of the turn for the Eldari forces as they are racing to complete the ritual on the Mining World of Xerath, located in the Ithaca system. The Dark Reapers and the Wraith Knight opened fire, wiped these guys out to just one man left, the Tyranid warriors, and also took almost crippling the Rock Grinder as well. Rock Grinder on the channel has never done anything to kind of earn its place here, but you know, we keep it on there for you guys. And yeah, that's turn 1 for both of us completed. We'll go into Tyranids turn 2 as we race to get across from no man's land and stop them here. They're pretty well defended. It's going to be hard to get any hits in, but I'm sure we can do it if we believe in ourselves. That's all you got to do. Just believe. We're a Disney movie, and we're going to go into turn 2 for Tyranids. Alright, finally, so end of the movement phase for the Tyranids on turn 2. We're well through the no man's land now. These guys have moved. And advanced. And we've got the flock of seagulls dropping in from the skies. In fact, they dropped in. My opponent used 2 command points on a stratagem called Forewarned that allows any unit within 6 inches of a farseer gets to shoot at a unit arriving by deep strike or similar rule. And he 2 command points did nothing. That was very sad. I used 1 because he has some ability to regain a command point. Yep. Alright, well, he's got 3 left. That's cool. Yeah, everything else just moved up the line here. Don't know if those guys advanced. I don't think they did. And these guys standing still to open fire. So we'll go into the shooting phase. Psychic phase with the Brood Lord and the Hive Tyrant, and get off some cool powers and go into shooting. Right, by the end of the psychic phase, nothing happened. No point in this update. Yeah, rolled like triple skulls. Oh, not triple skulls. Rolling bad rolls, and even spend a command point to try and get a single smite off on these guys, and nothing happened. So let's go straight to shooting. Right, folks, so end of the shooting phase for the Tyranids on turn 2. We just opened heavy fire onto the Wraith Guard pretty much and wiped out 3 of them. The Hive Guard actually managed to land some hits this time. Spent a stratagem, 2 more command points to do that shoot again, and it did nothing. Money well spent. But yeah, took off a wound on that guy. The forces are pretty thinned out. Still no closer to stopping the ritual than we were at the start of the game. But we managed to cold ambush these guys over here. I think I forgot to mention that in the movement phase, and they rolled a 5, so they got to move. So they're within charge range, and we're going to go give that a try. Alright, fine, so we've got a successful charge in, and we're in the midst of some shenanigans here. So we just rolled off, we've got the heavy rock drill. So when the model suffers an unsaved wound, so they take their damage, which was 1 damage, and then after that you roll a dice on a 2. A mortal wound, then you roll again on a 3, a mortal wound, a 4 mortal wound, 5, 6. So I managed to roll all the way up to 5, and all that is dead at the moment. That's just with Mr. Rock Drill. So we got more shenanigans left. Rock Saw, Bone Whip, Lash Sword. I don't think these guys are going to survive the next turn. But we'll keep it going. Right, finally, so end of that fight phase. 8 Guardians killed, plus the heavy weapons platform after that. They took out 2. Oh man, yeah, they took down 2 guys in the fight phase. But man, saving with morale, they managed to just lose 1 guy as well, so that's all done. And that combat is still locked in. Oh, what a glorious combat there. Look at that, those are the casualties, the dead bodies of the brave Eldar. And that's our table looking on the Mining World of Xerath. Quick bird's eye. Quick gargoyle. One of the gargoyles swooping over to Deep Strike. survey the battlefield. The ritual, big warp, imagine like lightning and clouds there swirling, magical powers all going off. And we're going to go straight into Eldar on turn 2. Right, final end of the movement and psychic phase for the Eldari forces on turn 2. Again, 3 more attempts to cast the ritual and 3 more successes. So we've got 3 more attempts remaining to complete the ritual and see some cool stuff happen. Cast Guide and Fortune and all those other good powers there. A trio with psykers, pretty undefeatable. And we smited into the gargoyles, killing 3 of them. Yeah, 3 of them. And they're going to go into some shooting phase. They've got targets to shoot now as the swarm gets ever closer. Alright, fine. So end of the shooting phase. Das Shooting phase for the German viewers. Do you like that? Did that make you guys feel at home there, those in Germany? And also there was a guy, I think you're speaking in Spanish, so I say hola to you. Hola? Yeah, anyway. Pretty devastating. We brought the Gene Stealers 2 more left. That's on 2 wounds left. And I think I've got, man, I'm getting pretty slack on turn summarizing, eh? These guys came in from behind with their little advancing abilities. Come and stuck behind the honourable Hive Guard, who has survived a lot longer than anyone expected. Can they survive 1 more turn? Who knows? But if they die, endless reserves, they'll be back. So you won't see the last of them. 2 big bully chicken boys. What else has happened here? Gargoyles thinned out. Everything's looking pretty thinned out. And it's a good battle. Eldar are dying. Aliens are dying. No matter what, the Imperium will be happy at the death of Xenos galore. So we're going to go wrap up a fight phase over here after a successful charge in from the 2 chicken legs, and go into Tyranids on turn 3. Right, final end of this of Eldar on turn 2. I used this counter-offensive stratagem to interrupt the attacking, and these 2 finished off the last 2 Guardians. And the Hive Guard, we lost another Hive Guard in combat. 1 more left alive, keeping them tied up there in that glorious combat. As we go into Tyranids on turn 3. End of movement phase here, whanau, on turn 3 for the Tyranids. As the noose is tightening around my opponent's neck, which is appropriate for the grim darkness of the 41st millennium here. So this group disembarked from the transport. Everyone was well and we're almost past no man's land into my opponent's deployment zone. And that's 3 turns it took to hit this point, and I think we're ready to assail with some powers. Unleash the might of Hive Fleet using the Kronos abilities. Anti-psyker, as they are 3 steps away from completing the ritual. We could potentially take this to a turn 4 game. But yeah, all the forces are ready. Mining lasers haven't moved. Broodlord, I've kept them back 2 inches, so we can't be within denial range of the psychic trio. And we've got some Gene Stealers ready to mince up this mighty Wraith Knight, who hasn't suffered a single wound. And yeah, very surprising turn of the game. I been getting blown off real quickly, but in this one, the numbers are what's counted, and too many stuff to shoot at to do any real effect. And look at that, like this guy, he should be dead, but he's still going. This guy as well, he's still going, even though he's on his last leg. So going to be exciting as we go into the final turns of the game. Before the forces are raid out and ready to roll, stop the psychic ritual from being completed as we wrap up the return to Xerath. So we're going to go into the psychic phase for the Tyranids, see what more shenanigans we can unleash. End of the psychic phase on turn 3 for the Tyranids. Successfully smited the Dark Reapers, taking down 2 of them. And over on the corner there, Broodlord smited out the Wraith Knight, bringing down by 3 wounds out of his 24. So still a lot of wounds to take that guy. Let's go into the shooting phase. Right, final end of the shooting phase for the Tyranids, the mighty Hive Fleet Quintus. Hive Tyrant ended up spinning around to take down the Dark Reapers because the Termagants failed their shooting, and I couldn't rely on these guys actually getting into combat with Overwatch Fire, and I didn't want them to get blown up if they missed. So didn't risk it, and I ended up unleashing Overkill into them. Everything else pretty much did absolutely nothing. Yeah, we did nothing. Did nothing in that shooting phase. Very sad. Many tears were shed. But we've managed to advance these guys. They're ready to rip and tear. Look, he's shivering. He's shivering in fear from the massacre of a Genestealer assault. This is what, you know, they tricked the battlefield. That's a long walk all the way from here, and they've just been running relentlessly, furious, fury powered by the hive mind, and they're ready to mince this Wraith Knight and kill him. Who wants to bet on a victory in this combat? I'll put all my money on these guys. Rocky Balboa versus whoever Rocky fights in the movie. Daniel LaRusso versus Johnny Lawrence from Cobra Kai. That's a showdown for the ages. Goku versus Jiren in the Universe Survival Arc. But yep, that's us. Shooting phase done. We're going to go into charge. Yeah, we're going to charge a couple of units there. We've got these guys here on the quick eye in the sky, bird's eye view. Few guys ready to come in and charge, as we're three charges away from completing the ritual. Let's see what happens. Right, fine. So we've got 2 successful charges made, or 3 actually. Got the cultists in against the Wraith Lord. We've got the heavy rock drill here, ready to mull into some action. I would like to have had the rock cutter over there. That's a vehicle opener. But alas, it was not meant to be. And we've got Broodlord, Brood Daddy, and Genestealer, his little baby boys, ready to rock and cut up this Wraith Knight. So we'll go into that, wrap up the turn for the Tyranids in turn 3. Alright, finally, so end of the turn 3 for the Tyranids here as the battle for Xerath reaches boiling point. The Wraith Lord absolutely stomped the guys. Their heavy weapons did nothing. Wraith Knight ended up losing 2 wounds, dealt by the Genestealers, thankfully, and he survived by 1 wound remaining. What else do we have happening? Hive Guard got killed, and that is pretty much the remnants of the forces left alive. Got some 7 wounds on this guy left, dealt. So that's pretty impressive for a Tyranid unit with no heavy support choices really. Yeah, we'll go into the final turn. 3 more charges left to shut down the to perform the ritual. Can they do it and end the game? We'll find out as we go into Eldar on turn 3. Right, fine. So end of the Eldar movement phase. Staying still, the trio of psykers are getting ready to perform the last stages of the ritual. Warwalkers over here have moved forward to chop up the line. They're knowing that endless reserves may come in on turn 4. We're looking to get rid of this battle line here that's built up. Ready to take down this big psychic beacon of power. We've got the Shadow of the Warp in effect there, cast by the Broodlord and the Hive Tyrant, who's going to just spin around, a lot more cinematic, bro. As the mighty Eldrad Ulthran and his trio of psykers get ready to prepare the ritual, casting that final power. Eldrad's going to cast the first out of the remaining 3 attempts to perform the ritual, looking for a warp charge of 7, because there's -1 thanks to the thing, and it goes off successfully, so only 2 more attempts remaining. Farseer Amrion is going to cast it as well, again going off on a 6, 7, oh, and that's a 9. and then one more to go off by the spirits here. So I'm going to spend a command point to use a stratagem now. Right, finally, so I've spent a command point to cast, to use a stratagem, the deepest shadow. The shadow of the warp is at its most suffocatingly powerful. So the spirits here, attempting to cast the final warp charge, the final leg of the ritual with the final point. And my great winged hive tyrant, the shadow of the warp, upsets his power, so he can only roll 1 dice. He rolls a 6, which is good. But he's got a -1 thanks to the shadow of the warp, so that becomes a 5. And then the next effect of my power, being a warlord from the High Fleet Kronos, Soul Hunger. The warlord has an insatiable hunger for psykers and can manipulate the shadow in the warp to isolate and overwhelm its prey. So whenever a psyker fails a power, suffers D3 mortal wounds, and it has 2 wounds remaining. So let's see if the winged hive tyrant, if he can manifest his power. All right, so the soul hunger emanating from the hive tyrant, as his opponent, the spirits here, fails the psychic power, fails to manifest it thanks to the shadow of the warp brewing. He latches on with some psychic tendrils. There's some psychic energies. And the spirits here is wiped from existence. His psychic energy is fed into him. And the ritual is not yet successfully cast. So we're going to go into...
So we've got some more powers.
Got some more powers to cast. Alright, so end of the psychic phase for the Eldar on turn 3. Calamity, disaster, just as they were on the cusp of victory. Who could have predicted such a turn of events, that the shadow of the warp would manifest at its strongest as it realised the potential loss of, as it realised the threat that this ritual would cause. It intervened and claimed the soul and the life energies of the spirits here, who is no longer with us. So we're going into a turn, yeah, there will be a turn 4. Can they cast it against all odds? They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units left on the field. A mighty Wraith Knight though, should be enough to keep everyone alive, and they've got to make their way to the top of the tower. The biggest threat we see here would be the Winged Hive Tyrant. Endless Reserves will come back, but they'll come back all the way over there, so not worth worrying about. But terror is palpable. Just when you thought it was going to be an easy win, things have taken a turn for the worse, which is what we love about Warhammer 40K. Twists and turns at every avenue, at every corner. And we'll go into the shooting phase for the Eldar remnants, as Eldrad attempts to steal the will of his warriors. Alright, finally, it's the end of the shooting phase for the Eldari on turn 3. Wraith Knights move to the front of the tower, protect the Farseer and Eldrad as the forces swarm in. Warwalkers coming in from behind, and devastating firepower blown in, bringing the Acolyte Icon Ward down to 1. He managed to save 2 guys with his ability, but not much to sing home about. We've got a host of Tyranid activity on the right flank here. They're pretty out of position though to do much. So it's all going to come down to Hive Tyrant, who tanked all the firepower that went in on him. Lost the Broodlord that used to be over there as well. So it's going to be pretty neck and neck as we go into some charges. Right, finally, an end of the turn for the Eldari on turn 3. The mighty Wraith Lord stomping over to tie up, to get into combat, protecting the 2 valuable HQ units here. Pretty. Don't know what's going to happen there with the end of the game. We're going to very excited to find out. The Endless Reserves are going to come back on the end of the table. Not that they're going to be able to do much difference, but every little bit counts as we go into Tyranids on turn 4. Right, fellas, so end of Tyranids movement phase on turn 4. Termagants racing forward, climbing up on top of the shipping containers here. The Gene Stealers moved through the building. Over here, they watched their brothers over there die to the big Wraith Knight Daddy. And so they're going to take on Wraith Knight Jr. instead. He looks like an easier threat. So look at that, cinematography at its highest level. Mages here, ready to unleash some psychic dominion. We've got the heavy rock cutter in there, ready. Targets locked onto the Wraith Knight. Wounded truck still trucking along, and these forces here have moved into this choke point in this ruined building. We know where we're going to want to hit. Big Daddy Hive Tyrant, the papa of the Tyranid forces, has flown directly onto the bastion to interrupt the ritual personally. He's taking on Eldrad and the Farseer Emryon. So they're going to get into some close combat rumbles. And if you follow me, sweeping across the ruins of the planet Xerath, we see the endless Tyranid forces, endless reserves have rushed onto the battlefield. Gene Stealers, Gargoyles, and the mighty Hive Guard once again, looking to overwhelm the game with these numbers. Will they be able to interrupt the ritual in time to save themselves, or will they see defeat? The Big Daddy's all the way over on the other end of the field. It's a race against time and a race against hope as we go into the psychic phase on turn 4. Right, so final end of psychic phase. The mages, Gene Stealer mages, unleashes psychic energy and smites the Wraith Lord here. So he's got 3 wounds down, he's 7 wounds remaining, and we managed to unleash. Our psychic scream was blocked by Eldrad's mastery of the psychic arts, and but he still managed to smite into the Farseer here, the lesser Farseer Emryon. So we're going into the shooting phase now. Right, final, so end of the shooting phase for the Tyranids on turn 4. The Termagants managed to actually get a couple of hits onto the Wraith Lord. He's down to 5 wounds, 5 remaining. These boys here, Acolyte boys, took down another Wraith Guard. Dealt some wounds over here to the Farseer, thanks to the Twin Devourers, and Mining Laser's got a successful hit onto the Wraith Knight. It's got 9 wounds taken so far out of 24, so it brings down 15 left. It's not too far to go. Hive Guard, revenge of the Hive Guard as they return to the battlefield and manage to take down Chicken Legs, a veteran war walker of the Eldari forces we see here. And that about wraps up the shooting phase. Go make some charges and then wrap up the turn for the Tyranids on turn 4. Right, fellas, the end of Tyranids on turn 4 as we come to the end of coming towards the end of the Return to Xerath campaign. Third mission, the Ritual. Playing this custom scenario, you've been following along, you know what's happening, don't need to refill you in on all that. A lot of losses here. Tyranid Warrior, the Gene Stealer, the Acolyte, Neophyte hybrids all charged in. This guy here with the Rock Cutter actually managed to do some good damages. We've got him on 12 wounds out of 24, so he's got 12 left. Pretty decent for our army. Farseer is almost dead here, but the combats are still going on between these two. So it's up to Eldrad to complete the ritual. That's what he's here for. He is the boss, the strongest, the mightiest of all Farseers. And that's why his expertise was called for personally. Deal in. So we're going to see him hopefully be worth the money. And yeah, combat's over there. So that's pretty much it. As we go in, there's no chance at all that these guys can't cast a Warp Value 6. They both can re-roll the dice, thanks to their psychic prescience. And yeah, let's wrap it up, finish up the game. Good game overall. As we go into the final turn Aeldari. Turn 4. Right, final. So, Eldar turn 4, final turn, and our boy, despite the shadow of the warp, despite the mighty forces of the Hive Tyrant right here, he manages to successfully cast the ritual. And that'll end the game. That's the victory conditions met. Cinematically, what's happened there? As the power is cast, a big beacon of light comes out from the sky and evaporates, completely wipes out the Hive Tyrant. It gets immolated by a psychic flame. With the death of that, these creatures turn tail and run, get hunted down by the last of the Wraith Constructs, and some psychic energy, some psychic voodoo, some scary music starts playing, and then we'll go get a one-liner from him. Finally, it is done. The ritual is cast, and the battle is won. Oh, thanks for your help, Eldrad. Good stuff. Yeah. And they give each other a high five. Great work. And that wraps up the third campaign there, whanau. The 7th campaign. Yeah, 7th campaign. The Return to Xerath campaign. Which is good fun, you know. Last time the Eldar met the Gene Stealers on Xerath, it was a stalemate. No one won out, and now it's great to see a victory for the Eldari Xenos forces on the Ithaca system. And survey the wreckage that has been left on this war-torn world that the Imperium will have to repair. But what's that psychic beacon? What's that energies that what is the ritual that has been cast? You'll have to tune into the channel to find out there, whanau. There is the plan if you're following the Battle for Ithaca system. And I'll put the video to describe that again at the end of this episode. Just so you can refresh yourself what's happening, because these battles are all for a reason. We've got warp storm activity, Hive Tyranid, Hive fleets, chaos, incursions into the system. So that's all we're fighting for an actual purpose. But finally, that's the end of this mission. Xenos Eldar victory. And yeah, great fun, great stuff with that. Cool to build up my Tyranid forces. The Hive Guard, very disappointing. You know, it cost $90, and they, you know, sadly they didn't do what I was kind of reading them to do. Non-vulnerable save is kind of rubbish. If you know I'm playing that wrong, just fill me in. But yeah, get excited, because when we first started the Return to Xerath, we only had like 20 points, 25 power level of Tyranids, and now we've got a full 50 power level. Really great. The channel's coming along really great. 110 subscribers at the moment there of filming this. So appreciate that support, and I hope you're enjoying the battle reports. Always feel free to leave feedback, nice feedback. If you be an egg, then I'll be an egg to you. And humbled by the support and the love for the channel. Just a guy from New Zealand filming battle reports. It's always great fun. Right, fine. So I'm losing my train of thought there as I keep talking. So I better cut itself off. I'll tell you what, guys. And on the next campaign, it will be Space Wolves and Dark Angels. Battling Crimson Slaughter and the Death Guard, the Hollow Swarm, on the volcanic planet here, which I forgot its name. I'll have to watch my own video to figure that out. But yeah, that's going to be cool. A joint showdown. We're going to have a finale of 100 power level battle. Pretty much first up is going to see the Dark Angels against the two armies, and then we're going to see the mission number 2 will be something like the Space Wolves, as they race to provide reinforcements and support, and then a final showdown with both of them together. So that's going to be exciting. Make sure you tune in for that. Don't want to miss that. That'll be the finale of what I dubbed Season 2 of my maoriwargamer battle reports, the Battle for the Ithaca system. Season 2 is focusing more on Chaos Imperium. So Season 3 will be kind of aiming towards Xenos. We've got 2 new Xenos armies coming in. Which is even more exciting. But I find that's enough from me. It's about a 5-minute outro, and I feel like I've talked enough there. So thank you for watching. Once again, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends and family and your neighbour your postman, your butcher, the lady at the grocery store, and tell them all about the Mighty Wargamer. Thanks for watching. One more time. Ka kite. Anō.